Hi everyone, Mr. Market here. Today's video going to be looking at interest-only loans and sinking funds. Taking out an interest-only loan and using a sinking fund is an alternative method or option to actually looking at a reducing balance loan, which we've been looking at predominantly in this topic. So an interest-only loan, you're only paying interest, not paying back to principal. And the interest is calculated using simple interest. I'm going to use a slightly different process, but you can use a simple interest formula. And the sinking fund is basically a fund that you are saving up enough money to pay off the total principal in one hit. So say, for example, if you borrow $10,000, which in this case it is $10,000, you only pay interest on the $10,000 for the period that you're saving up $10,000 in a sinking fund, a savings account, at which time you would then take the $10,000 and pay off the total from the loan. Okay, so let's actually jump into that example and work through the questions here. There are quite a few questions today, but we'll get through each one at a time. So Kelly is borrowing $10,000. She agrees to pay 9% per annum interest over 3 years, making monthly interest-only payments. We're going to use simple interest to calculate that. Kelly also makes monthly deposits into a sinking fund, like a savings account, in order to repay the principal at the end of the 3 years. So she's going to save money in that sinking fund account until it reaches $10,000 and then use it to pay off the amount she borrowed initially. So the sinking fund pays interest at 6% per annum, with the interest being compounded monthly. Okay, so the savings account will have compound interest, but the interest-only account won't. So the first question says, find Kelly's interest-only monthly repayment. So for A, we're just going to work out 9% of $10,000, and then we're going to divide that amount, because that's how much you would pay in a year, and divide that amount by 12. That will tell us how much she pays per month. So it's another way of doing simple interest, but yeah, I'm just going to use a normal calculator here to go, all right, what is 9%, so 0.09 of times $10,000, 900, divided by 12 works out to be $75 per month. So the calculation again was 0.09 times by 10,000 divided by 12, which works out to be $75 per month. Okay, that's how much she pays in interest per month. Question B then goes on to say, calculate the monthly deposit Kelly must make into the sinking fund. So remember, she wants to save $10,000 in total at the end of the 3 years to pay back the amount she borrowed. So N is going to be, and it's compounded monthly, and she's making monthly repayments. So N is going to be 12 times 3, or 36. The interest rate for the sinking fund, or that savings account, works out to be 6%. The present value is here. We're just going to put in 0. Okay, I know that seems like, why 0? Why is it not 10,000? Because this is a separate account to the loan she's taking out. Okay, she's starting with nothing in this account, and she's going to build it up to $10,000. Okay, PMT, how much is she putting away per month? Well, that's what the question is asking. How much does she have to deposit for that future value to be $10,000? That's what she wants to build it up to be. And PY and CY will both be 12, because she's making monthly repayments, or monthly payments, I should say, and the interest is being compounded monthly. So she's going to be earning interest in this account over here, as well as paying interest on the $10,000 she borrowed initially. So what would it be in terms of a monthly repayment? Let's come over here for today and ask it based on 12 years, so 3 years monthly repayments, an interest rate of 6%, an initial, we're assuming she starts with 0. We want to know what the PMT will be to get her up to $10,000 in 3 years' time, with PY and CY both being 12. So what is the amount she'd have to put away? Again, this will be a negative number. It's $254.22 she would have to put away every month. Okay, so $200 and I've already forgotten that, $52.22. She has to put away every month in order to save up $10,000 after 3 years. Again, she'd be earning a little bit of interest as she goes through. So she's not actually going to be, putting away $10,000 entirely herself into this account anyway, because she will be earning some interest on it. Okay. And that's what gets me, I guess, to the next question. What is the total cost for Kelly? Now, Kelly is paying $75 in interest per month, and she's also putting away $254.22 per month. So that's her total cost for 3 years. The 75 times 36, she's doing 36 payments of the interest of $75, plus she's doing the payment of $254.22, again, 36 times, okay, every month for 3 years. So that is the total cost to her. Now, when we look at that value, in fact, we can just use a normal calculator here, 75 times by 36, that's how much interest she pays, $2,700. In fact, let's put that there, plus how much she puts into the savings account, or the sinking fund, which is 36 lots of $254.22, which works out to be $9,151 and 92 cents. So if I add those two numbers together, in fact, you notice there that the number here is actually less than 10,000. She hasn't quite put $10,000 into the savings account, but it's got to 10,000 because she's earned interest in that sinking fund, in that savings account. Okay, that's a really important thing to understand in the context of this question. Okay, so how much has she paid in total? Well, if I add the 2,700 back to that amount we just worked out there, or the 2,700, her total outlay is $11,851 and 92 cents. Okay, that's the total she has paid, come out of her pocket. But what's the total amount paid back to the lender? Well, the total amount paid back to the lender is, of course, the $10,000 that she has in her sinking fund at the end of the 3 years. She'll pay that back to the lender, plus the interest she pays every month for 3 years, which works out to be $2,700. So the amount that actually the lender gets is $12,700. The next question says there, well, why is there a difference there? Or, can you account for the difference between the amounts in the answers C and D? So why are these two numbers different? The amount she pays and the amount the lender receives. Well, the difference is accounted for in the amount of interest she earns in her sinking fund, okay? It's almost like a savings account she's got on the side, and she's earning just a little bit of interest over those 3 years that reduces the total amount she has to save, okay? This amount here, right? So that, I'm not going to write it down, but basically it's the, let's write it down. It is the interest earned in her sinking fund. Okay. Then it goes on to say, calculate the value of the sinking fund after 1 year, and hence the book value of the debt after 1 year. So the book value will be the difference between the sinking fund value after 1 year and the total amount that she borrowed, which is $10,000. But first of all, let's look at the value of the sinking fund after 1 year. So I'm just going to go back into the graphics calculator, and we're actually going to change some values so N will now just be, instead of 12 times 3, it's just going to be 12 times 1, or 12. The interest rate will remain the same at 6%. The present value, we're going to, again, assume she starts with nothing in there. PMT, we know now, is minus $254.22. We're going to put in that value, minus $254.22. What will therefore the future value be after 1 year if payments are made monthly and interest is compounded monthly? What would the future value, or what would the value of the sinking fund be in 1 year or after 1 year? So on our graphics calculator, I'm just going to make, I guess, a bit of a tweak here. Let's just make sure that we set PMT to that rounded value, minus $254.22. Again, we're rounding it up. The future value, we want to know what it is, but we're going to change N to 12, or 1 year of monthly repayments. What would the future value be? There is $3,135.95 in that account. Okay, so after 1 year, there's $3,135.95 in the account. Okay, so therefore the book value will be the difference between the $10,000 that she took the loan out for and the amount in her sinking fund after that 1 year. So if she's asked, after 1 year, do you have any debts? Well, yes, she does have a debt. She doesn't have a full $10,000 debt because she has this amount saved away. So the actual debt she has, the book value of the debt she has, is the difference between those amounts, right? So it's $10,000, take away $3,135.95, meaning the book value of her debt after 1 year will be $6,864. $6,864 and 5 cents. And that is, again, just a basic example on interest-only loans and using a sinking fund to save enough money to pay off the total amount of that loan borrowed. Another common question that might appear with this type of question is, all right, well, that's great that she can do all that, but is she considering her total outlay is $11,851.92, but would she be better off using a reducing balance loan? Would that be a better option for her? And they might say, okay, there's a bank over here that offers, 8% interest per annum compounded monthly. Would it be better off for her to go through the process of using, that financial institution or that bank at a reducing balance loan rather than using this process we've worked out? Okay, and again, we know how to do that. We'll just be comparing, the total outlay for her there in that instance against this total outlay for her. Okay, so hopefully again that helps, and yeah, I'll see you in my next video.